Well, the back wall's on, and it's all framed out for the door. Back lights are on. We've actually got a little bit of the trim up, and it looks pretty good. I'm crawling in here, and we've got kind of it's 1 or 2 LED lights. It's amazingly bright. And that just hooked off the DC. That seam where you see the insulation in green there, that'll be covered shortly. And at the back, when you first get there's skylight, and as I said, one of the previous ones is all worked up. There's a fan zooming away, also on the DC. And when you first come in, I showed this in the last video, but you just touch it. So it's just, if I could touch and film somewhere in there. Anyway, it's come on. Oh, well, I'll have to figure it out. It's always a glitch with everything, but that's the way it works. And so the next thing is either, I don't know, I was finishing doors. Sorry, I got this little plate on. The door will fit over, and we've got over here. That's right in there. Just standard kind of fit in there somewhere. Door trim so that, you know, it's got a rubber piece here, but it's slanted off so the rain won't drain out. And that's where we're at. Well, we're almost done. So I just pulled it out of the garage, spun it around because I needed to test the lights. Lights are working awesome. Just got the 4-ways on right now. I also wanted to check the marker lights, so they're all working great. So just a quick, I'm gonna actually right now, I'm just gonna build a temporary box out of wood right now, because the problem is, I realized once I got this, you can't crank this. So we're gonna leave later on this afternoon, so I'm not gonna worry about that. I'm just gonna take the box off, build a very simple plywood box, because the only thing really I just need is that battery in it right now, and I'll get more organized down the road. So I think since the last update, so that was the lights, checking them, and we made the door. So I'm pretty stoked over that. I think it looks pretty good. I wrestled with the hinges. You'll see I got to get some shorter bolts today. They're a little, these are too short, so I stuck them long ones, and I didn't bother putting one in there. But I wrestled with how do you do this, and that was the simplest thing, because I didn't want screws similar to the windows as I just explained. I wanted this bolted through. So as long as it's got a nut on the other side and a lock washer, it doesn't matter if there's a bolt out here, nobody's getting in. It all locks up and everything. The one thing I do have to work on today is it's a little bit tight. So you can see there's a bit of scratching already. But I'm just going to grind that down and repaint it, so I'm not worried about that. And I think right now the only thing left to do, and it was waiting for the wiring, is we can now insulate the back end and put a wall up there, and then whip in a couple of shelves. I think what we're going to do is I'm just going to put a temporary shelf in here, because what I've got here, that's electrical, like a regular one we can plug into a campground, and I'm going to just put an outlet right here for a heater or something. This is, as I said in a previous video, just going to be a charging station, and this here goes to my little spotlight LED 12 volt that we added on the outside. So we're just going to do a temporary one for this trip and see what we how we live, and then design it how we want when we get back. So we've got a little, you know, the rain lip here and everything. We've got some you know, weather stripping. Got to paint this, a little bit of finishing. The windows aren't trimmed. We're not going to do that until after we get back, just because we're out of time. But that's pretty much where we're at. We're almost ready to go. So I like the door though. It's I was pretty happy with that. Locks good, deadbolt, so it's pretty secure. Okay, last video I said that I was going to take off the big plastic box and just build a temporary one for just the battery. So I whipped that together. It actually works pretty good. I don't know if I'm even going to bother putting the big one back on, because we've got right now, we got the caravan, so you put all the seats down and you get a ton of room. So I don't think we need that big one. I'll save it for a future project. So we just got back from a dry run. We just did about 1,500 kilometer trip for a couple of days, and I don't think we've actually had a video of the inside with the bed in it. Last one just had it open, so you know, there it is with the bed, a full queen size bed, full length, and it is super comfortable to sleep in. It was awesome. I just put a temporary shelf here. It was interesting because we had to get on the road and I hadn't done this yet, so I took the stuff with me, just a couple screwdrivers and some snips and the outlet, and I was going to hook it up, and then out the back here we've got the other end of the wire. I just need to put a plug on it. But having never camped aside from tent camping, I didn't realize what a campsite electrical looked like. So it was 30 amp, and I knew that there was 30 amp to 15. So I had bought a plug, but I bought the other, so it had a male 15 and a female 30, and I needed the reverse. So it got quite cold a couple nights, so we basically had no power, which was fine, except it would have been nice to have a little heater. We had a little heater. So I bought this today when we got back. It was like, it wasn't even $10. So I'm just going to wire this down here with a regular a 15 amp 120 extension cord outlet. I'll plug this right into the campground, and just a regular extension cord, because literally the only thing we're probably going to run off here is a little heater. Everything else is totally self-contained. The lights worked out great off the DC, tons of battery power. The thing was super warm. One night we went up to Mount Tremblant, which is in Quebec, a couple hours north of Montreal, and it got down to about -5, and that was a little chilly with the heat, but we just put tons of blankets on, and it was okay. So the only things that on the dry run that we need to tweak was the thing that I already mentioned, which is the door is a little tight. So I'm just gonna take this piece off here, trim it down a bit, and it should fit perfect. So no big deal there at all. The only other thing was on the first night we were driving along, and it was like a monsoon out. And what was happening, let me get the right side here. I think it was here. Yeah, you can see right there, there's a bit of a gap, and I didn't silicone it properly when we put it on. And so all I need to do is silicone that better, and we should be good. It wasn't a massive leak. It was just a couple of covers in the corner were a little bit damp, but nothing that prevented us from sleeping. And believe it or not, we actually did sleep in a Walmart parking lot on the first night, and after that we were in a campground. So all in all, really good. Just tweaked that thing. I also just got back today, a few minutes ago, I took it up to the transfer station, or the place where you can dump stuff, and I weighed it, and it came in pretty much right on, including all the batteries in the box, at 500 pounds. So that was really, I thought we were going to be around 800, so 500 was amazing. And the thing tows beautifully. Gas mileage impacted a little bit, probably just because of the big front on it, but it's straight as an arrow, no swaying, wobbling. There was a piece of cake, and between Ottawa and Montreal, which is the route we took, it was there's some big long hills, and it came up them no problem. So we're good to go. Project complete, with the exception of the little trim on the inside windows and stuff. But I'm not going to film that one anymore. Now it's time for some adventures. Cheers.